Hi, I'm Brad Sweezy, president of Just Small Biz Marketing. And what I want to talk to you about today is 9 marketing secrets for small businesses. I've done a lot of webinars, seminars, in-person things, presentations across the country. And this one is always a popular one. So I thought we'd, go over that, and you can get some ideas from that and hopefully help you grow your business. I got 3 questions for you, and I think you have to ask yourself these questions and answer them. Like, are you committed to making more money this year? That's the first question. The second is, are you committed to having the business you always dreamed of and wanted to have, right? And then, are you committed to doing both of those while living the lifestyle you desire? So why do I ask these questions? Because change is hard. You started your business in a certain fashion, in a certain way, and wanted to grow it. And you thought, like many business owners, I'm a business owner. I incorporated in 2011. So trust me, I know this process that you've gone through as a business owner. But what happens is you get consumed with the day-to-day grind of, at first just trying to get enough business coming in, to cover your overhead. And it often takes a lot longer than you expected to get those clients and customers, et cetera, to keep that business sustained. So you have to be committed. Now, the other question is having the lifestyle you desire. A lot of business owners, you start the business and it's really a low-paying job, right? A lot of business owners, you are working all the time, worried all the time. There's nobody else to, to blame. You sign the front of the check and the back of the check, so to speak. So you end up getting in a hamster wheel, and you don't design a business that fits around your lifestyle. And I think that's a key component. And I think I have done a fairly good job at building a business around my lifestyle, and I made certain choices because of that. So you have to commit to what kind of life you want to have. What are you going to do in your business to get there, and commit to it? And it's not always easy to commit to the harder things that don't have an immediate impact, right? It's a lot easier to get in the office, turn on your email, and start letting the events of the day, the tyranny of the urgent, as one book called it, take over. So keep those questions in mind. Most of you know this. If you're watching this after your first, year and a half of being in business, I'm sure if you went to Chamber of Commerce's with those businesses who started out around the same time, a lot of them aren't around anymore. So you have to look at that, and those are the realistic odds. So you have to maximize your chances of succeeding despite those odds. You have to crack open the safe of successful business secrets. So you got to get that safe, you got to then open it, then you got to read it, and then you got to act on it. You got to act on the information, which is not easy to do. This is an overview of what we're going to talk about, knowing who your ideal client is, overcoming blandness, offering continuing a new value, getting the right people to notice your business, having a system for continuing contact, wowing them, counting beads, tracking efforts, and developing a marketing plan. So we'll go over those in a little bit more detail. And you should be able to speed this up if you're the type of person like me. I like to read stuff, so I have this report, this seminar in a report. I'm a reader, so I prefer that. But I also know people like videos because you can put them on, open up your other screen if you have one, and work in half listen. I'll just tell you a little bit about me. I graduated from the United States Air Force Academy. That's like the West Point of the Air Force. I think it's a far superior school to Annapolis and West Point. Graduated there with academic honors. I was an officer in the Air Force. I was in Desert Storm over in Saudi Arabia. I've worked at all levels of the government, including the national level at the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, Department of Health and Human Services. I've done that. I've worked for, generals, et cetera. I've also worked for small business owners, particularly since 2013. That's who I've worked for, small business owners. So I've got the experience and I've got the track record, and I can take those lessons that big corporations have and tailor them to a small business, so your small business can become a big business. If that's what you want, you may not want it. You know, that's the thing about marketing, especially to small businesses. The small business is very much personality driven. And I can have two exact businesses in the same industry, two different personalities at the helm, and you have to craft two different strategies almost, because the business owner has to adopt what you suggest and then implement it. And if they culturally and mentally can't do it, that strategy won't succeed. I've been talked to every major news outlet in the world. I'm talking every one of them. Chances are, if there's a media outlet out there, I've talked to them. I've got a lot of experience. These are some of the, the experience at the national level, some companies, here's some more companies, here's some more companies, some more companies. So I've got the experience, and like everybody else, we don't put all the logos up. Some clients don't want anybody to know that they're being helped. So the first secret is knowing who your ideal client is and who isn't. Now, a lot of businesses have no idea, right? I say, who's your target market? Everyone. Everyone's my target market. And that's not true. If you're selling, Maseratis, not everybody's your client. So it would be stupid to advertise to everybody. You want to target those people who get the Robb Report or have the money to spend it. So you have to look at who your ideal client is, and you want to spend some time doing that. Like with our clients, we spend a good amount of time identifying who that target market is so that you can get to that ideal and get business. This is an example. My wife runs a travel agency. So she's been doing that since 2001, started a week before 9/11. Let's face it, the last 2 years, this is being, recorded in 2022 with COVID, have not been a good time for a travel agency. So, but either way, so if you want to sell, let's say, high-end cruises, you can target those people who, and this is just one demographic. If a certain area up in Orlando, we want, people who have high incomes, they're married or single, but they're women, they're over 50, and you can even actually segment for have been shown to cruise. So you target that. And in this one, out of all of them in the Orlando area, there's 333 of them. So that's who you target. Forget everybody else. If you get other people, great, but target who you want to target. The second secret, you got to overcome blandness. Why are you better than the competition? Okay, why are you better than doing nothing, whatever they are doing now? What makes you different? Because if you don't have a way to make yourself different, price becomes the basis for a decision, right? When you're shopping around for things and you're like, all right, everyone's the same, right? I'm going to go for the cheapest price. You go on Amazon, it's the same product. I'm going to go with the cheapest one. So unless you can find a way to segment yourself a little bit and overcome the blandness, you're going to have a hard time standing out, besides price. And price is never a good thing to be on unless you can do a tremendous amount of volume, like Walmart or something like that. But most small businesses, you can't do the volume. The third secret, offering continuing and new value. The most expensive part of a process is getting new customers, right? On average, a business spends $34. Now, this is a little old, but so let's say it's up $34 to get a new customer. And it takes about $7 to market to an existing customer. And a good rule of thumb here is, take whatever your target revenue is and go, my target revenue is 100,000. That means I should spend at least 10,000 in marketing. How many clients do I need? Like, what's my new customer cost? If it's $1,000 and the more money you're going to make in that year, the higher your acquisition cost. You're not going to be able to sell a high-end piece of real estate for $34, right? You're going to spend a lot of money in marketing, but you're going to make more volume. So you do that. You focus on new value to existing clients. And I use this example, it's a famous fast food restaurant. This is a pre-COVID, pre-inflation prices, but let's say it costs $1.97 to get the customer in the office, into the restaurant. So their profit on that, assuming it's 208, they make 11 cents profit. Not a huge amount of money, right? I mean, that's what, 2% or so? I think that's right? 10, yeah, something like that. So, right, 10%, forget it. I'm not doing the math. I'm talking right now, but you can figure it out. Where the upsell offer comes into play. Would you like fries with that? Would you like a bigger drink? Would you like something else? It's those little steps that gets you more value on that first interaction, right? So you give them more value. Now, if there's a way to get them back into the restaurant, let's say, then that's even better because they're already a customer. You don't have to spend that new money to get them in. You're spending less money and they're presumably going to spend the same amount of money they did before. So you have a higher return on your investment. The fourth secret is having a system for continuing contact with clients and future clients. Okay, you have to find a way, once they come into your system, they've expressed interest, for you to continue to contact them. Now, all of you are on social media, and all of you have had this experience, right? Of going to a website and seeing, all of a sudden you see ads in your news feed, right? You see them. And it's the same thing with, nobody admits it, but it seems like whenever I talk about something to somebody, somehow I get those ads in there. But regardless, you need to make it so that when somebody comes to your website, if you're in the type of business where the follow-up is key, right? Where it's not like a one and done, but you're going to follow up for maybe a week. So somebody goes to a personal injury lawyer's website and they go there, but they don't actually end up, filling out the form. You probably have only a week cycle there to try to get them. So you can do a retargeting ad on Facebook, on Instagram, and even, Google ads to follow them a little. So hopefully you can then convert them into calling you, filling out an email. Either way, you're capturing that information so that you could market to them continuously. Not everybody makes a decision right away. Most people don't buy the first time they're looking. They look and they look and they look. I bought a Surface Pro a few years ago, and it took me about 6-7 months to buy the thing. But it seems like for the next 6 or 7 months, I was reminded over and over again that I needed to buy this computer, right? And eventually I did. So it was worth it for them. So you do that. Once you get them into your system, you follow up. Now you can use social media, you can post things on social media, but if you look at it, maybe 5 to 10% of the people who like your page are actually seeing your stuff. You can always boost it, but one of the better ways to do it is if you have an email system set up or a SMS system, so you can reach out to those people continuously. The beautiful thing is you're not at the mercy of social media. If they decide to change their algorithm or change anything or make it more expensive, you don't really care too much because you've got their way, you've got your customers and future customers information, and you can market to them. And it's very cheap to do. It's very cheap. You just have to have somebody on your staff do it. The fifth secret, and I always love this photo. It's one of my favorite photos. I've used this same photo for almost a decade now. Most businesses don't think about who they want to target, right? I was kind of alluded to this before. If you're, let's say, selling wine, right? This guy is not your target market, right? Now, if you're selling, I don't know, PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon, or something else, or another Budweiser thing, then yeah, they might be the perfect target. So if that's your target market, you get the right bait and the right media and the right messages to get to them, and that way you have to, or you can then say, I don't want to advertise in this. It's a waste of my money. Okay. I don't care if it says I have 35,000 impressions. If you pay this, it's 35,000 impressions. I don't care because most of those people are never going to see it. And most of those people aren't interested. I would rather spend the money on targeted media. And I'll talk a little bit about that, And you have to think about the unintended consequences of an offer, right? So if you don't target the right people, you might get people coming in that are just going to take advantage of something and then never buy anything of consequence. So just remember that. Always do what you need to do to attract the type of client or customer you want, right? If you tell me everyone's a client, no one is. There are very few industries where everybody could say everybody's a client. I'll use an example. Target and Walmart. My wife loves to go to Target. Doesn't really like going to Walmart. I like Walmart over Target. A lot of the times they're selling the same stuff, but to my wife, the Target is a completely different shopping experience. And so she'll go there. If the same product is a little bit more at Target, she'll go to Target. That's what she'll do. So it doesn't make sense for Walmart necessarily to target her. This is a thing called wowing them. Once you get a new client, it's really the start of your work. It's not the end. It's not all about just getting new clients, getting new clients, because you have to have a system to wow them. The more you wow them, the more you stay in touch with them, the better off you are, right? They're going to generate referrals. They're going to come back more and more. And I use my wife's, Colleen as an example. She's got cruisers who've cruised with her for almost since she started, 20 years, let's say, or taking trips, and she did this in one of the cruise rooms for somebody. And, you really know how to make a girl feel special. It's a little bit of money, but in the end, look at the benefits from that. The seventh secret is you got to count beans. You've got to know the cost and value of everything you do with marketing. It's a crucial part. It's hated by most small business owners. When we run a campaign that we can track, I can tell you how much money was spent. The client, as long as they're giving me information, this is how much we sold. I can track basically mathematically which one is working and which ROI, return on investment, is the highest, and do more of that, do less of that. So you've got to know what your customers are worth so you can know how much you're going to spend. And so we've got a client right now. They basically on AdWords the max they want to spend is, $7.84, per conversion, which is somebody filling out the form or calling. So you structure it so you're not spending any more. And once you figure that out, you can then, multiply. I mean, it's math. This is an example of pizza. Let's say somebody gets pizza once a week. They spend $25 a week. It's $1,200 a year. And, we'll say the profit's 50%, so $600 per year profit. Right? So that. Now, you also are told, I got two different advertising choices. Somebody's going to give me $50 for a small paper, let's say, or for 1,000 views. They're going to print 1,000 flyers and keep them at the restaurants or whatever, right? Or $700 for 70,000 views. Which one's cheaper? Now, here's what most small business owners do, especially those with tight budgets. First, they don't ask, well, which one has a better audience for me, right? The 1,000 views might be better because it's strictly targeted, but let's say it's just a general target. Most small businesses will go, I got $50, no problem. The smart business owner goes, I'm going to spend $700 for 70,000 views, right? I'm spending more, but look at how much more. I'm getting 70 times more exposure for a little bit. Well, it's a lot higher, but per view, $700 is a lot cheaper. So it's better to do that than the $50. I know it'll feel good to do the 50, but trust me, you need a lot of people seeing something to get those select people who are interested that day and the other parts who are interested, but not today. And part of that counting means is establishing a budget. It depends on what you want to do. And I talked about this before, but this chart shows marketing spending as a percent of company revenues, of course, multiple, industries, et cetera. And you can see some, don't spend a lot, 4%. Energy, I mean, they don't have to spend a huge amount of money. Solar companies do, but energy companies don't. But most business, if you start averaging out, it's about 10%, So those businesses are growing, just kind of allocate 10 to 15% of my money, my revenue is going to go to marketing. Aggressive companies will spend more, especially if you want to drive somebody out of business or you're entering the market and nobody really knows who you are. So you want to market and budget for that. You have to budget for it. So every year you go, I want $1 million in revenue. So I need to budget $100,000 for marketing. How am I going to do that? That's where somebody like me comes in, because we kind of give you an idea of how to do it. We lay out a budget and do all those kind of things and show these are the channels you should use. This is how much money you should spend on everything. So that's something that I see a lot of business owners. This is where, if you look at why they're not growing, if I look at their marketing budget, I can almost point out they almost have 0% in marketing budget. We work on referrals only. Yep. Yeah. I've yet to meet a business that has said we rely mostly on referrals. Well, okay. I mean, if you build enough, you're going to get that recurring revenue, but you're not going to be growing as fast as you could. Eighth secret is getting reviews systematically. You can trumpet your successes on your website. Look how great we are. You go to any website. Have you ever seen a negative review by a company on their own website? It doesn't happen. I know it, you know it. They're all cherry picking the reviews to go, look how great we are. That's why independent sites and Google Business is, the Mac Daddy in that plays in it. I use an example here with Citrus Solution Carpet Cleaning, a client of mine. They're a franchisee of a franchise, so it doesn't really matter if they're corporate owned, but they're a franchise. And look what we've done with his reviews there. Which carpet cleaner are you going to pick? I know which one I'm going to pick. You're probably going to pick the one that has 5 times or 4 times as many reviews as the competitors. Here's the thing about reviews. 90% of the people go to the internet to look for a business. Google Maps, my wife will use at time. Google, right? They're going to go online. 93% are going to read the online reviews, and they'll read about 10 of them. I'm the type of person, I like to organize by newest first, right? When possible. So they're going to read them. And then 84% of those people trust the online reviews as much as asking somebody, hey, who's a good carpet cleaner? Something like that. And then the other part is 48% pay attention to reviews in the past 2 weeks. So you can have a lot of positive reviews, but if they're years old, maybe you're not in your prime anymore. So you really want to incorporate that into it. It's a very important strategy. We have a report presentation on that as well. Ninth secret is develop a structured marketing plan yearly. This is the thing that unless you do marketing and have experience doing marketing budgets for organizations like, I had $1 million ad budget. You don't just spend $1 million, willy-nilly. In fact, one time I had to spend $300,000 in a week. So you need to have a plan that incorporates your budget, your goals, and all the different channels available for you to market that business. And you don't have to spend it all up front. You spend it strategically, right? That way you have everything set in place. You now have buy-in from people, and this is the plan you're going to do. And then you're going to evaluate it monthly or quarterly and see how well are the things that we thought were going to working out. So that's what you want to do. And the nice thing is when you have the salespeople, they all come in, this is the best thing since sliced bread. I had one client who was approached by, the movie theaters. This is before, COVID. And let's face it, not a lot of people go to movies anymore. So he got a, salesperson come in and say, look, for $3,000 a month, we'll have your auto repair shop at the movie theater. So when people are coming in and sitting there, they're going to see that auto repair, ad, so to speak. Now, I just went to the movies for the first time in a couple of years. What do you do when you're at the movie theater? You're either eating or you're looking at your phone, right? Before the 30 minutes of preview start. You're not really looking at the screen unless for some reason you forgot your phone, or you're eating the popcorn or whatever and not talking to the person next to you. So the number of people who are seeing that is ridiculous. We had a marketing plan in place and he didn't do it. Saved a lot of money and got a lot more business. So I got a couple of bonus secrets because, bonuses are good, right? You can become a perceived expert in the media and the community. There's nothing preventing you. If you're doing whatever you're doing, who knows more about it than you? You're doing it. So why not be the one who finds an opportunity to be the expert when they need something commented on? You can be the person, and if you're uncomfortable talking on camera, for example, that's fine. A funny thing about dealing with the newspaper and the print industry and the online industry that doesn't have video, most of the questions are, they email you the questions, you email them back. If they need clarification, they send them back, you clarify and go from there. A lot of times they never even talk to the people. That's the funny thing about news. This is a column I wrote for Florida Today, top 20 Florida newspaper on small business marketing. What did I do? I approached the newspaper and said, look, I know you guys are cutting staff, et cetera. I'd like to write a column on small business marketing for free. And they said, well, that's win-win. They had me write a couple of columns. They saw them and voila. And I got a lot of good clients from writing newspaper articles. It cost me not much, but writing them. The second secret is you got to get involved in charity or volunteer organizations, especially at the local level. It shows that you care. It justifies in people's minds, yeah, I'm going to spend a little more, but they help out X, Y, and Z, you know. And I've had volunteers as part of my, career since the beginning. So get involved, and you'll find that not only will you do good, but you'll also help these board of directors and people who are usually movers and shakers see that you're a good business, and maybe they'll talk about you, and voila, you'll get business. The third secret, you got to develop and test messages, offers constantly, right? So many people come up with an idea and go, all right, this is my idea. This is the best phrase ever, right? And then they go print 10,000 of things, or they buy a newspaper or a TV. Most small businesses don't buy TV at first, but either way, they don't test any of these messages first. They just throw them out there. And that's a mistake because what you think causes someone to act doesn't necessarily mean they're actually going to act on it. And this is an example of a mental health counselor. I do all kinds of businesses, right? So, or organizations. So look at the two ads, the first ad, the second and the third, right? The first ad pulled at 5.21%. The last one pulled at 0.93%. Now, what's the difference? At first glance, there's not much difference, but the first one says your relationship can be saved, right? This third one said save your relationship now. There's a lot of the same stuff in there, but your relationship can be saved. Maybe it was interpreted by people as more hopeful, If we didn't test the ads, we wouldn't have known. That's a 460% difference in response, 460% from that. So it is crucial. When I send out emails, what version you see may not be necessarily the same version somebody else sees. What you see when you go to a page on my website might not be the same as somebody else, because I am testing to make sure that I'm getting the most effective bang for my buck. And that's where somebody like me comes in with businesses, is helping you determine that. So it's an important thing to do. Landing pages, I talked a little bit about this. I did some work for a franchisee, Freedom Boat Club, and we tested two different landing pages, right? Both of the words are basically the same, right? The only thing different is the pictures. One was just a boat. The other one was a boat with, the two girls, and so there was an 83% difference in response rate. We think that it had to do with people imagining spending time in their family with their boats, on the boat, versus just a plain boat. But you test these things, and if you don't test them, you never know. This is an example of a Facebook ad I ran a bit ago. 628.57% difference, right? Headlines are the same: how to lose a customer in 3 minutes or less, how to lose a customer in 3 minutes or less. One said request time, one said learn more. And they had different versions. These are the final ones of writing. But one says request time, that's more I need to enact immediately, versus learn more, it's a little softer. So you test them. Here's another example, 600% difference in response rate. So you test these things. Now, once you find one that works and you want to do something print-wise or something else, send out postcards, you've got something that works, right? So you can see these two different ads. Same basic thing. One says stem cell therapy and one says STEM therapy. You test, you find out. Here's another example, landing page too, 166% difference in response rate. All we changed was we moved the 3 pictures to the bottom versus where they were before. Boom. Number 4, you got to know your competition better than they know themselves. I can check any business out there and see what they're doing online. I can look at their ads, if they're running pay-per-click ads or Google ads. You can research and see, are they doing TV ads? You can go, all right, I'm going to get on the mailing list of, the competitor down the road. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to find out what they're doing. maybe it's the military person in me, but you've got to know the awareness of what is happening around you so you can position yourself in a better way. So in summary, you really want to build your business methodically. You're going to use these secrets in your business, and don't be afraid to seek help, especially when you can measure whether it's working. I know, look, I'm a small business owner. I hate spending money. You hate spending money. We don't like doing it. We will often do one thing. We'll try to do it ourselves first, right? You know it. I know it. I do it, right? Only after I've spent the time, now I'm going to go, all right, somebody else can do this better than me. Somebody else is more capable. Why am I spending all this time, right? So you have to make the decision that it's an investment. And if it's done right, as our clients, who have been with us a long time know, if it's done right, you make more money. Spend a little, but you make more. A little bit about us. We do methodical marketing planning and research-based marketing implementation, which basically saves you money and maximizes opportunities. Very often, I can take the same budget and just carve it up a lot differently, and you're not spending much more out of your pocket, but then you're growing. And I use this example. I started with a client, 2 years ago, a little longer than 2 years ago in April, whatever. Started out about $3,000 a month in advertising. Now they're spending between $45,000 and $60,000 a month in advertising. The same form, because we tested until it worked, and then it was just mathematics. So you can grow. I think there's one more here. Oh, that's the last slide. I thought there was one more. If you want a free consultation with us, it's 1 hour. It's $125 normally. It's for free, so you can, fill out the form on this web page, email me or call me, and we'll go from there. And at least you'll come away with some ideas, whether or not you use them or not. I don't know. I can tell you, if you try to do it yourself, if I was a betting man and bet, against, or I don't want to say against, but every business owner, if I got $100 for every business owner who said they were going to do it themselves, I'd be a millionaire right now just from doing nothing. You're not going to do it. You're going to get so immersed in your day-to-day stuff and all the pressures that happen from running a business, you are not going to do it. And if you don't have a marketing person who knows marketing, and not a marketing person who's marketing, but really all you do is you send them to chamber events and things like that, you're losing money. So that's it. If you have any questions, you can call me, email me. There's also another number, 941-564-9163. All righty. Thank you.